Hi, I'm Andy Sherratt and I want to talk to you about my Lancia Fulvia Sport Zagato. But I want to start off by saying welcome everybody and thanks to Adam for inviting me to do this talk today. So my Fulvia, it's one of those cars that I'd always wanted, had the Corgi model as a child and loved it, and neighbour when I was a teenager had one. And every time I saw it, I used to think, I really want one of those. And so about 5 years ago, I thought, I've really got to do it before it's too late. And looked around for a while. And I'm sort of embarrassed to say I've had this one over 4 years now. And it's not been on the road yet. But let me show you some of the things that relate to it. In the garage, and I'll excuse some of the reason for the time. Moved house during it, had to build the garage that it's in now. But let's go through the car. Now, starting at the back, one of the things that's unusual about the Fulvia Sport, its official name, by the way, is a Fulvia Sport 1.3, and this is an S2. They're more commonly known as the Zagato, of course, because they did the bodywork for it. But you might notice that the rear hatch is slightly open. Now, that's a feature that enables them to... it's ventilation through the car, primarily. But it operates off a little electric motor that winds up and down, and the catch for opening the hatch requires it. In the boot, I've got actually a spare engine. Apparently, the car had been stood for 25 plus years when I got it, having been body restored, but then that was it. And I managed to buy its original engine because apparently the one that's in it is not the original. So most of this week, actually, I've been spending trying to get this motor to work on that and realign the hatch because, unfortunately, it was catching. And it's got a bit scratched on the top, so that's something else to sort out at some point. Now, while I've had it, because it had been stood so long, I've been doing all sorts of little bits and pieces on it. I've replaced, and sadly so long ago they've got a bit rusty, but I've replaced all the discs, pads. It's quite an unusual car because it has disc brakes, 1972, but has disc brakes all round. But there is inside here, this is a drum handbrake inside it, and it has a really tough nut to get off. I had to buy a 3-foot breaker bar to get those nuts off. They're somewhat difficult. And it's Italian, so electrics. Main thing I've been working on recently has been electrics, and so it's all in pieces on the dash because the fuse board's on there, and I can't get the headlights working right at the moment. One is, one isn't, and the relays for the headlights are down here behind the dash. So this weekend's job is to try and get those a little bit sorted, hopefully working right in terms of that. Had to source things like the interior door handle for it because that was missing, unfortunately, when I got it. You can see, yeah, working on the electrics. A3 size printout of a colour copy of the wiring diagram I managed to get hold of. Anyway, the engine. The great thing, one of the fantastic things of this car, as some of you might well know, it's a 1.3, but it's a V4 engine. Now, it's a narrow angle V4. It's just a single cylinder head on it that covers both things of the V. Basically the same as Volkswagen more recently used with their VR6. Two twin choke Solex carbs. I've rebuilt those this year because they were leaking when I did try and start it. I have had the engine running, put new coil pack on it, new condenser because I just couldn't get it running right. It does run, but it might not start easily at the moment, so in 6 minutes I don't think I've got time to do that. So yeah, it's all running and ready. Front end, I've done all the ball joints, drive shafts, new CV joint boots and everything, and again all the brakes, new brake lines all the way through as well. So yeah, basically, hopefully, it's getting close to being ready. It was due to go to Le Mans Classic in July this year, but that's not quite worked out. I I think I'm fortunate. I've had a really busy year this year. Slightly jealous of people that had time off, but I work for myself, so really glad I've been busy. So it's not progressed as well as I was hoping it might do this year, but it was due to go to Le Mans Classic in 2020. It will be going out in 2021, but the real ambition is to get it on the road and at least drive it around the estate where I live before the end of the year. Not too far off, wheels ready to go on, but I've got to move things like Fiat Coupe 20-valve turbo cylinder heads that are conveniently stored underneath it at the moment before I can do that. But hope you've enjoyed this. Many thanks again to Adam for organising today. I will look forward to watching everybody else's later. And yeah, if anybody wants to know anything about the car, just ask away in the questions, and I'm happy to answer any questions. But more than anything, I'm looking forward to seeing everybody else's things and driving my Fulvia Sport one of these days soon. Thanks very much.